The Vacuous spider is probably the most difficult boss in all of Bloodborne, so I'm going to show you the best way to take her on. So first off, with your runes, obviously runes in this game are pretty weak, but I'd recommend try to have anything that increases your stamina, and I'd also recommend Communion, which we pick up in Yosefka's clinic, just for some extra healing. You could also equip Formless Oedin for those extra bullets, and then Arcane Lake, you get this right outside the fight, and it increases arcane resistance, which the boss likes to use. I'd also obviously recommend upgrading whichever weapon you prefer to its maximum as you can. Saw Cleaver or Ludwig's Blade are the best. You could pick either or. Obviously, Ludwig has the best scaling in the game, and it's probably one of my favorite, but you can upgrade that later. Saw Cleaver is fast. You should have 8 Bloodstone chunks if you've been following my guides. And then another thing you could do for the fight, you can either use your insight to summon allies, or I'd also recommend just buying a whole bunch of either bolt paper or fire paper for your beast blood pellet. Bolt paper is highly recommended, but obviously you could split between the two for future boss fights. And then worst case, you can still summon allies for this fight. You would just need to pop some Madman's Knowledge before the fight, but you just want to have as low insight as possible, and then consume whatever insight you use immediately in order to have the best effect for your Beast Blood pellet. For the fight as well, I'd also recommend having a good set of armor with arcane resistance, such as the Tomb Prospector set, which you can buy, but it's pretty expensive. A better alternative, in my opinion, is the Executioner set, which you pick up in Canehurst Castle. Has very high resistance to arcane, as well as blunt damage, which the boss uses both of. And then, if you feel like it, I'd also recommend equipping the cannon. But like I said, this is just if you feel like it for some extra damage. You can equip this. You need 30 strength, but you can equip this, pop some bone marrow ash on it to deal like over 1,000 damage. And then, obviously, head to Bergenworth. Another thing, if you want to, instead of using the cannon, because obviously that's just completely optional, you could also equip the Old Hunter's Bone. This is especially good because guns are sort of useless against this boss. You can't exactly parry a giant spider. So Old Hunter's Bone will make it much easier for you to dodge in the fight. So definitely use this. Not in the first phase, but second phase it's especially good. So I'd highly recommend summoning Henrik. Obviously we don't have insight right now. You just want to pop some Madman's Knowledge if you don't have the insight, and then you can summon Damien over here, the Scholar. I'm pretty sure that's his name, Damien of Mensis. And then just hop on through here. Obviously, in order to summon Henrik, you need the Impurity Rune, but you have no reason not to equip that. And then once you hop on through here, I'm just not going to use summons because this fight is arguably easier without the summons, especially if you can kill the boss in its first phase. As you can see, this boss, it doesn't really move around. What you want to do is just come behind these spiders. Hopefully you'll be able to kill these spiders with one hit. You want to come at their back, sort of. If you want, you could just dodge and then do a slash attack. Obviously, make sure you're healing pretty frequently. Their heads take very little damage. As you can see, their head is kind of like hardened, white. And then this fight is pretty slow. If you want, you can feel free to just pop some fire paper or bolt paper for this first phase just to take care of these guys. But it's not all that necessary. As you can see, the boss doesn't do anything, really. And then I'd recommend pop a Beast Blood pellet. And then you can equip your weapon or unequip it as you see fit. Try to have a second slot sort of open so that you can just use your fist in order to increase the Beast Blood bar. You just want to keep pressing R2 to fill your meter. Just keep punching the boss in the face because the boss must take a decent bit of damage before it decides to start attacking you back. So just keep doing this until the bar is pretty full. Just want to keep punching with R2. And the boss will just keep moving back, which is fine. You just want to keep hitting it. Once you get around here, then feel free to pop your bolt paper. Oh wow, I cornered the boss. So, equip the saw cleaver, and then just start whacking. When it gets around here, you want to have full stamina. Hopefully, you'll be able to do a charge attack and knock the boss out of that animation. Otherwise, you just want to go follow where the boss is. If you're lucky, you'll be able to get rid of the boss in that first phase. When it does that sort of lift up its front attack, you just want to keep running straight because it'll do a sort of arcane attack where it sort of pops stuff out of the air. And then you just want to run up, slash it a few times, and the boss should go down pretty quick. Has one move where it does an explosion attack, and then another move where it just sort of thrashes around. Pretty easy to read. And then once that's done, you'll just come over here to activate the cutscene.